This time I yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Duffy.
The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
I appreciate the gentleman for yielding, and thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to note at the start of this resolution, for the first 3 pages, I agree with everything. We have great quotes in here of our founders and American presidents who talk about the strength of this country that has come from immigrants and immigration, and I wholeheartedly concur. As we get to page 4, though, I have significant disagreement. I would note that on page 4, on the whereas, it's noted that Trump's racist comments have legitimized fear and hatred of new Americans. And I just want to make a point to my friends across the aisle, because in paragraph 2, you note that it's committed to keeping America open to those who lawfully seek refuge and asylum from violence and oppression. Lawfully seek refuge and asylum. But I would note that just recently President Trump has said those who have sought asylum, had a hearing, and have a deportation order, you are all offended by that. You didn't include in your resolution those who had deportation orders issued, your opposition to them being removed. So you actually agree with us and President Trump that those who have lawful orders of deportation should be sent out of the country, just to cite your resolution. But I want to note, Mr. Speaker, that I've looked closely at the chain of 3 tweets sent out by President Trump. And in those tweets, I see nothing that references anybody's race. Not a thing. I don't see anyone's name being referenced in the tweets. But the president's referring to people, congresswomen, who are anti-American. And lo and behold, everybody in this chamber knows who he's talking about. Who are the anti-American members of Congress? He didn't say their names. He did not say their race, but he commented on what they view, how they view America. And we all know who he's talking about. I want immigrants to come to this country, but if you come to this country, shouldn't you love this country? We all come here and see imperfection, and we work every week trying to make our country better. But to say I wholeheartedly dislike the country, the fact that I'm going to call the president an MFer, good Lord, what has the institution become? And then to come to this floor and chastise the president for a couple of tweets when that's the language you use against him? That is rich, Mr. Speaker, that's the language that the left would use, and then try to call out the president who didn't cite a race or he didn't cite a name. I look at this, and I think we are all called to do better and be better. We should make this country better. But when I look at some who say, I believe that socialism is a purer form of government and a better economic economy over capitalism that has given us the freest, most generous, most prosperous country that's ever existed on the face of the earth, that we want to trade this in for a system that has always failed, I think you're going to see Republicans push back against that, and I think many Democrats will push back against that. And I think that's what this argument really comes down to. And I'm going to one other note. I look at some of my conservative colleagues, whether it's Candace Owen, Diamond and Silk, Justice Thomas, who are...
The gentleman, please.
I yield back.
The gentleman from New York is recognized, Mr. Nadler. Before you go, let me again say, please direct your comments to the chair.
Mr. Speaker, I have a parliamentary inquiry.
Woman will state a parliamentary inquiry.
My inquiry is this. My colleague across the aisle just referred to members of Congress as anti-American. I believe that those words are defamatory, and I would like to ask whether that is appropriate for a request for the gentleman to take down his words.
The chair will not issue an advisory opinion. I have directed both sides to please address the chair, number one, and number two, I've asked that members refrain from engaging in any personality-based remarks. So the chair is not going to issue an advisory at this point.
So a member can say that other members of Congress are anti-American, and there is no resolution for that?
Yes, his words be taken down if you want to.
We would like to ask the gentleman to take down his words.
No, his words be taken down.
Is the gentleman making a demand that the words be taken down?
Yes, I am asking that the gentleman's words be taken down.
I think they made the point that, he shouldn't be making. Mr. Speaker, I don't believe the request is timely.
In order for the words to be taken down, the objection has to be contemporary to the remarks.
I was trying to get the attention. Should we just leave it? Okay, Mr. Speaker, I will relinquish the point, but I just want to remind my colleagues that that is completely inappropriate to tell any of us that we are anti-American.
Let me just say, if the violation occurs again, I will interrupt in sentence. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I now yield 1 minute to